Hey there, Cube Nation! Some of you have been asking, how do I know what the screens mean, and how do I know how long the process is going to take? While many of you have already figured out how long the foods take that you are already freeze-drying in your own home, we are going to help clear up some of that confusion. Once your freeze dryer enters the freeze-drying stage, there is no clear indication as to when it will be done. We recognize that all foods are different, and they all dry in their own ways. So we trust in the intelligent technology we have created to actually complete the drying of the food. Let's start with the freeze-drying screen and explain what you are seeing. On the right-hand side of the screen, there are some indicators telling us what stage the process is in. I will explain all 6 of them. First, the very bottom indicator simply shows when the heaters are on or off. You will see it illuminate and darken repeatedly throughout the process. Second, the top indicator is the level finding stage. During this stage, the cube is searching for the initial moisture levels and setting some boundaries. After those levels are set, we move on. The second and third indicators are the general freeze-drying stages. You will see these two alternate as the food dries and the cube constantly measures the moisture coming out of the food. Once the cube reaches levels that are potentially dry enough, it will move to the fourth indicator. This is the dryness test stage. The food must pass several tests during this stage before it can move on. If any one of these tests fail within a 90-minute period, it then returns to the previous stage with indicators 2 and 3 alternating. However, if it passes all the tests, it will then move on to the 5th indicator. At this point, the cube has determined the food to be dry enough to enter the final stage of freeze-drying, which is 4 hours in length. So when this indicator is illuminated, you know that you are in the last 4 hours of the process. At the end of this stage, the cube will tell you the food is dry but that it will continue to run for an additional 2 hours before ending the process. Now we know you are asking questions like, how long does it take to freeze-dry strawberries, or pineapple, or blanched potatoes? While we state that a typical food cycle should take 24 to 30 hours, there are a lot of factors to consider. Just remember this one rule of thumb. Start with a smaller batch and then get bigger until you find the sweet spot. Now that you know exactly what the screen on the cube is telling you, you are even more of a pro freeze dryer. Check back to see more pro tips on the Cube, the most intelligent at-home freeze dryer. To learn more about the Cube, click the link in the show notes below. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make sure that you never miss a new pro tip about your Cube freeze dryer. Happy freeze drying, Cube Nation!